Thanks to all of you again that submitted your questions for this Royal Rumble Q&A. Today is part two. Part two. Yeah, there were that many questions where I had to do a part two. So let's get started, shall we? Remember again, tweet your questions for these Q&As to Add Off the Rope Show. Starting Monday, you could tweet your questions for the hashtag Batista Q&A. But wait until Monday before you start submitting those questions. Let's go. Ed Little Nick 365 asks, if nobody had more than one Royal Rumble win, who would you replace from people in the company at the time with the winners? In 90, it would have been Warrior over Hogan. In 95, maybe I would have done British Bulldog over Shawn Michaels. In 97, maybe you would have had Bret Hart win over Stone Cold Steve Austin. In 2013, maybe you would have had Ryback win instead of John Cena. Those are some of the ones that stand out to me. At Amir Y2J, has there ever been a Rumble where you honestly thought the wrong man won? And if so, who should have won? I always felt Warrior should have won over Hogan in 90. That would be one that stands out to me. There have been other ones too, but that would be the primary one. Oh, yeah, and go back to Little Nick's question. 2001, I would have had Kane win, not Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let's see here. At Kenny Kim, how many people do you think Roman Reigns will eliminate? If I had to guess safely, probably around 7 to 8. I think it should be at least 12, if not more. But I'd say 7 to 8 is probably a strong guess in terms of the number of people to eliminate. And We Are Pro Wrestling. Which do you think was the best performance in Royal Rumble match history by a non-winner? Best performance by a non-winner. You could say maybe the British Bulldog going the entire distance in 95. That would be one. Mr. Bob Backlund going an hour would definitely be another one. Diesel eliminating all the people that he did. That would be another one. Obviously, Kane in 2001 eliminating 11 people. That would be another strong performance. Those are just some of the ones that stand out. At Sterniker, the 2007 Rumble, do you feel WWE could have let Kennedy win the title from Batista, and will he ever return to WWE? Second part of the question first, never say never. Maybe at some point he will. I don't foresee it happening, but I never say never in this business. And could they have let Kennedy win the title from Batista? Yeah. Should they have? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. At Luis Roulette, is Daniel Bryan the right guy to win the 2013 Royal Rumble? And if not, who is? I did a video about this, talking about the 4 guys that I felt were contenders to win the Royal Rumble and why. Daniel Bryan would be a right guy. Roman Reigns, in his own argument, would be a right guy. So would CM Punk. And so would Batista. Which one is more awesome? Sid coming back and confronting Sin Cara, or Jeff Jarrett coming back and confronting Dolph Ziggler? Anything involving Jeff Jarrett coming back to the WWE in any way, shape, or form is not more awesome. Even though it would be funny in another company to see a showdown between Jarrett and his clone, Dolph Ziggler. But Sid confronting Sin Cara would be so many more levels of epic awesomeness to me. At DorkChops1, God, I love that Twitter handle. How much would you wet yourself if Ultimate Warrior and Hogan entered the Rumble and had a big face-off in there? I had to make sure I didn't wet myself just thinking about it now. On one condition, Warrior has to be given a mic. Then I think everybody might wet themselves. Hell yeah. At Slimyath, who is the worst surprise entrant in Royal Rumble history? Ooh, worst surprise entrant. The year they had Cole, Lawler, and Booker T all enter the Rumble was pretty dumb. You have your 3 of your commentators entering the Rumble. 3 of your 30 spots go into your commentators. That was pretty dumb. At Mr. Nice Hangover 1, would you mark out if Shane McMahon returned to the Royal Rumble? Oh, fuck yeah. And I know I'm not the only one. That might generate one of the biggest mark-out reactions for me out of anybody you could possibly have be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. Shane O'Mac? Oh, baby. Hell yeah. At Ty Mills 1104, do you think Daniel Bryan will be in the Royal Rumble match? At this moment, I do not. Who had the better Royal Rumble performance? Chris Benoit, Rey Mysterio, HBK, or Ric Flair? I'll go with Flair because Flair's was for the belt, and Flair had probably the most talented and loaded, deep Rumble pool to ever face off against. That'll be the most impressive performance to me. At Ruck Fools for Life, should the WWE have a Royal Rumble match where the winner will receive a match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania? Yes, yes, yes. something different, something unique, and something that is worthy of a Royal Rumble winner. Every year, the Rumble winner, more often than not, has gotten a title match at WrestleMania. How many of them have ever gotten a shot at The Undertaker? I make the argument that at WrestleMania, the streak is more important than any world title because people win and lose the belts all the time at Mania. But Taker always wins. Taker's streak means more to me at that particular event. So, yes, I'd be totally in favor of the winner of a Rumble match, whether that be this year or in a future year, getting to wrestle Taker at WrestleMania. That would be awesome. At WWE Tombstone 87 wants to know, what would your reaction be if Goldust, Hurricane, or Maven... Hi, sweetie. Damn dog. We got a party crasher here. What would your reaction if Goldust, Hurricane, or Maven, either of which won the Royal Rumble? I'd be like, what the fuck's going on here? If you had him as a surprise entrance, that's one thing. But winning the Rumble? Woo, I don't know about all that. At Scottish WWE fan, was it the right decision having Ray win the Rumble in 2006? Sure. Sure, why not? Yeah, it was the right decision. It made for a good story. At Carl J4321, who do you think is the best wrestler to never win a Rumble? You could go with a lot of guys here. The Macho Man, Randy Savage, Chris Jericho, Kane. Sit down. Andre the Giant. There's a lot of Mr. Perfect, Jake the Snake Roberts, Ravishing Rick Rude, The Ultimate Warrior. There are all types of names of guys that never won the Rumble. At Stephen Waz, what Legends surprise entrance are you hoping for this year, and do you think there's a good chance they'll show? I did a video about this and talked about that I wanted to see Hurricane Helms, Eugene, Jake the Snake Roberts, The Ultimate Warrior, and Sting. Could one or two of those guys probably show up? Yes. 4 or 5 of them? I don't know about all that. At Goodboy_EOB, being Benoit is erased and HBK is the only one who won the Rumble #1, do you feel Shawn will screw Punk somehow? No, keep hoping. Keep hoping. How ridiculous is it that the tag titles and New Age Outlaws are being in the pre-show? Fucking ridiculous. This goes back to the days of when the WWF used to have Sunday Night Heat, and they'd give you, that kind of dark match or that pay-per-view warm-up match on Sunday Night Heat. But how many times was that ever for a fucking title, let alone your tag titles, let alone with the Rhodes Brothers, who have torn down the house in a lot of their matches, and they're facing off with the New Age Outlaws. How ridiculous that this isn't at least in the curtain jerker opening match spot on the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Absolutely ridiculous. You could have had another filler match on your YouTube pre-show and been just fine instead of doing this dumb shit here. Oh my goodness, yes. Did you and Smokey ever have a chance to talk about a possible winner at this year's Royal Rumble? Yes, he thought it should have been Sheamus. If not, maybe a Roman Reigns. Although Smokey, in his last days, decided to do everyone a favor and get behind Daniel Bryan. Do you notice? You remember that summer? Before SummerSlam? After Money in the Bank pay-per-view, before SummerSlam, everybody was just assuming that John Cena was going to beat Daniel Bryan because they all thought it was going to be set up for John Cena to look like $1 million, give him a Match of the Year candidate, And then if you remember, there was a direct correlation between Smokey throwing his weight behind Daniel Bryan, and all of a sudden the rumors almost immediately after that came out that John Cena was indeed going to lose to Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan was going to win the belt that night. You remember that? Daniel Bryan, ever since Smokey got behind him, got over even more. Just throwing that out there. It was his last great gift to you. So he might have also said, Daniel motherfucking Bryan, you damn right. At John 900 Blaze 94, you miss Smokey, don't you? Yeah, he was good. At least he let you induce his enforce. Hey, Schleg Daddy, first time asking a question, excuse me. Who do you think will be the last 4 men in the Rumble? I talked about this, I believe, in the first part. I would anticipate maybe Reigns, maybe one of the other members of the Shield, now that I think about it. Batista, maybe Punk. Just some of the names I could think of. At Jacob Castle 42, do you think CM Punk will still be in the Final Four this year, even though he's entry #1? I think there's a chance. I don't know how likely it is, but it would make for a good story if he went #1 and made it to the Final Four. At Dakota Did You, what if WWE Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble and forfeits his shot at the title for Taker in the main event of WrestleMania 30? Now that's what the fuck I'm talking about. I'd be all down for that, specifically if it was Daniel Bryan. Specifically if it was Taker that said he wanted Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. At Lost_Bladesman6. What are the chances of the title match being first so Cena can lose, then enter the Rumble and win it? Breakfast Club awesome, baby. Someone, would you sit down? That way you have a Breakfast Club champion and you have a Breakfast Club Royal Rumble winner. I'd never put that past the WWE, but I'd be surprised, frankly, if Cena and Orton didn't actually main event the show. I think the Rumble might even come before that. Shh. What do you see? Goodness, quiet, quiet. At MacDog714, is there a worse match than Scott Steiner versus Triple H in the history of non-Royal Rumble matches at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view? No. There have been some bad ones, but that to me, because of what was expected, the way it was packaged, the way it was presented, the video packages we got before that, the build-up and the lead-up into it, and what we actually got, I would definitely classify Scott Steiner and Triple H as the worst match in the history of the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, easily. And closing out this Q&A, at World of Chelsea asks, which 3 superstars do you think should have won a Rumble but never did in their career? If I had to go with 3 of them, I'd go Macho Man Randy Savage, Chris Jericho, and maybe Mick Foley. Those would be the 3 that stand out. There's a lot of them. Like I said, you could go Mr. Perfect. You could go Jake the Snake Roberts, Andre the Giant. There's a lot of different guys. But if I had to name 3 for sure off the top of my head, those would be the 3 that I would say. So again, thanks to all of you that submitted your questions for this Q&A. Remember, the next Q&A next week will be #Batista. So make sure come Monday, you go to Twitter, tweet your #Batista questions to @TheOffTheRopeShow. Let's try that Twitter handle again, @OffTheRopeShow. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you later.